One man who was in the room last night is Danny Sebright, president of the US-UAE Business Council, and he joins us now live from Abu Dhabi. Morning, Danny.
How are you today? Good to see you again.
I'm great, but for you, it's the morning after the night before. What time did things wrap up last night?
Well, to be very fair and honest, I wasn't in the room last night. We worked on the joint communique together, but I am going to be in the room this morning when the president and Sheikh Mohammed meet business for breakfast, and that's coming up very, very soon, in line with your business breakfast. But the meetings went very late, and the president came back to the hotel, I think just before 11 o'clock. So it was a long evening for sure.
So in terms of the substance, the headline number that everyone's talking around is 200 billion US dollars. What were your takeaways from that?
Well, these are obviously projects we've been working on for a while. We have to start with Sheikh Tahnoon's historic visit just 2 months ago to Washington, where the UAE signed a $1.4 trillion deal then. So they were sort of ahead of the pack on this visit to the Middle East, if you will, by committing then to just the largest investment deal and project sort of ever, if you can imagine, between our countries. And what we did on this trip is start filling in the bucket for that 1.4 trillion. And we've added, we committed, we put together, if you will, deals in energy, in defense, in AI for sure, that total some 200 billion. So that's going to be a tall order, Richard, for the next 10 years to fill up this bucket of 1.4 trillion, to put 140 billion, if you will, 200 billion, if you will, every year in the bucket for each year for the next 10 years. And so that's what we're about. That's what's happening. You're going to hear more this morning after the meetings this morning. More will come out. But, just historic what's going on. Amazing, amazing investment in the U.S. and great new projects here in the UAE for the future.
What can you tell us about the breakfast this morning? Who do we expect to be there? What's on the agenda? I'm sure the stuff you can't tell us, Danny, and that's fine. We respect that. But what can you tell us?
Well, if you look at the tone and the tenor of the deals that were announced in the joint communique last night, most of the companies that were in that announcement and reflected in that announcement will be at breakfast this morning. It will be a small breakfast. It's only going to be about 15 or 20 companies on each side of the table, but it's the titans of the U.S. and it's the titans of the UAE sitting down together, talking about this collaboration, these projects that are going to propel the relationship forward over the next number of years.
Can we talk about Nvidia and Jensen Huang? Because one thing we didn't get last night was a deal with Nvidia with specifics of how many and indeed which Nvidia chips the UAE was going to be acquiring. And we know that has been an issue of negotiation for some time now. We did get that announcement in Riyadh on Tuesday, but we haven't had it yet in Abu Dhabi. But Jensen was there. Jensen was photographed being there, being in the room. So what do we know, Danny?
Well, that's coming. I can't say much more other than it's coming, and other than it's part of Secretary of Commerce is here with the president as well, and this is part of his remit. There's some final I's to be dotted and T's to be crossed for sure, but the deal is done. The Emiratis want a long-term commitment on these chips for the future. That's what this is all about. Not something that's short-term, but something that's very, very long-term. And I met with the folks from Nvidia as well yesterday afternoon. And all I can say is just stay tuned for a few more developments, a few more announcements.
We are tuned in. We are not turned out. We are definitely tuned in, Danny. This AI campus that was announced, going to be the biggest one in the world outside of the United States, developed in stages. Of course, it is. These things always are. What does that look like? Have you seen the plans? Do you know where it is? You spend a lot of time in Abu Dhabi. What do we know about this?
Well, it'll be on Yas Island, and it'll be a collaboration of a number of things that are going on, headed by Group 42, which is, as you know, is an amazing company that's focused on all of UAE and Abu Dhabi's tech down here in Abu Dhabi, into Abu Dhabi going forward. And I met with the Qualcomm CEO yesterday. I met with folks from Oracle, other partners that will be involved in this project, AWS, Amazon Web Services. And it will be a collaboration with key American companies to really push the envelope forward in this part of the world, for sure. But what's key and what most people don't understand is that many of these tech collaborations are not just for things happening in the UAE, but they're to push the collaborations forward for the rest of the world, to access the African market, to access the subcontinent, India, Pakistan, and other places. And that's what is going to happen with this tech center. It's going to be a tech center that's headquartered in the UAE, but it's going to be a global tech center focused on helping spread this technology, this know-how, this awareness to other countries in the world.
Danny, I've got to say, my colleague Tom Urquhart, when you mentioned Yas Island there, his eyebrows raised. It's only a week ago we were talking about Disney on Yas Island. Thomas?
Yeah, makes sense, doesn't it? Two huge parks next to each other. Perfect.
Yeah. Yes, the Disney, I was here last week for the Disney announcement. We've been working on that one, obviously, for 10 years at least. And just imagine what's going to be here in Abu Dhabi over the next few years when many of these projects are complete. I mean, it's already a global center. It's just going to cement itself as one of the top 10 global centers in the world by 2030 for sure.
I'm going there tomorrow with my 12-year-old to Warner Brothers. It's not quite as significant as the deals you've been working on, but I'm looking forward to it nonetheless. A final quick word, Danny, if we can, on what I'm calling old economy. Yeah, the AI and the tech stuff always grabs the headlines. We had a $60 billion deal with ADNOC and ExxonMobil and other US companies. We had an aluminium deal from Emirates Aluminium. We had Etihad buying aircraft from Boeing. Good deals. These are 100-year-old industries or more. Talk to me about old economy if you can.
Well, I'm going to dispute just a little bit that premise, because the old economy is quickly becoming the new economy with regard to advancing key technologies in these areas that are going to make energy production more efficient, that are going to make aircraft travel, airline travel more efficient. The aluminum deal is a really important one. The aluminum deal is an investment in the U.S. market in the highest end aluminum that we don't produce at this point in the U.S., that we import only. It's high-end aluminum that's used for aircraft and very specialized products. And this smelter in Oklahoma, $4 billion, is going to provide a capability into the United States market that we don't have at this moment. And it's just another example of how the UAE, working together with the U.S., providing the most advanced product in the world for an industry that's critical to the future of the world. And it's not old economy in that sense. It's very much becoming part of the new economy.
30 seconds left with you, Danny. Tom here. Obviously, it's been feted and championed the tour here in the Middle East, across the region. What's the reaction been back home in the States?
Well, I mean, I think people are just sort of waking up in the last 2 or 3 days and seeing what the president is doing. I think there were obviously